This is the fictional Mindbender. One of the reasons why I fell in love with the first Matrix movie is that underneath the slick outfits, crazy kung fu, and bullet time sequences is the philosophical questions that it tricks the audience into considering. Whether it was the concept of living blindly in a system designed to keep us enslaved, or questioning our identity and how we and other people see ourselves. The Matrix was loaded with these type of Philosophy 301 questions, I guess you can say. Recently, though, the outlook of one character seems to be becoming more popular from what I've seen. And it's not one of the big three, Neo, Trinity, or even Morpheus, but rather the traitor, Cipher. In case you're not familiar with the Matrix or the character, he was a member of Morpheus' crew on the Nebuchadnezzar. He was responsible for watching the backs of the rest of the crewmates while they're undertaking their missions within the Matrix. However, he developed an obsessive quote-unquote love for Trinity and became increasingly disgruntled with the oppressive real world that they were constantly fighting against, literally hiding in sewers and riding in steampunk-looking hovercrafts to stay under the radar of the machines. It gets to be too much, and he eventually betrays his crew, killing half of them before he himself is actually killed as well. For the most part, I think most people who see the movie think that this is a pretty cut and dry situation about what goes on here regarding Cipher's motivations. But I don't think that's the case. Cipher absolutely still believes that there's a war going on between the machines and the human race, and that the Matrix exists to keep humanity under its thumb. It's even implied at one point that at one time he did believe in Morpheus and his cause until he started asking questions. Why were they looking for this mythological superhero to save them when everyone thought that he either was not real or just couldn't find him if he did actually exist? Sure, he was free of the Matrix, but what joy did that bring him? Running through grimy sewers and living a hunted existence, feeling isolated by the obvious questions that he had and the oppressive environment that permeated even in his ship. Shunned by the woman he wanted for some unknown newbie who slowly was buying into Morpheus' bullshit like he himself once had. So yeah, Cipher still believes everything that Morpheus pretty much says, except what he says about Neo. But it's just that he doesn't want to believe it anymore because he's no longer getting anything out of it. That he has become disillusioned with the cause. Cipher's worldview had become more practical and not ideological like the rest of his comrades. He saw no benefit from living in the world of the real despite knowing the truth, because the truth had not set him free, mentally at least. It profited him nothing tangible, and there was no real progress in the war as well, ongoing while they were still fighting in sewers and always on the back foot for machines that they couldn't fight, whether in the Matrix or in the real world. But perhaps what was most important about the situation was that these were thoughts that he could not broach to the others verbally. Morpheus was too charismatic and basically still believed in the war, and the rest of the crew followed suit. Even Neo, who started out as just as skeptical as Cipher, starts to come to think that way as well. And I think that's why Cipher was warming up to him at the beginning of the movie, but then later tries to kill him. That basically Neo may have been his only real human connection in the real world, but he eventually loses him too to Morpheus. Hence the utter disgust that he shows him when he finally acts on his betrayal. In the dark recesses of the Nebuchadnezzar, I'm sure Cipher thought back to the bliss of ignorance while he was still in the Matrix, blind to the truth, but much happier than he was now. That's the real Cipher, the Cipher that neither the crew, nor possibly even us, the audience, ever really saw. Or rather, maybe just got barely a glimpse of, but never fully. Today, people are starting to say that in essence, that Cipher was actually right, that we, in Western society, spend so much time on our phones and computer screens following whoever spews any morality or ideology or opinion that fits our bias, that we might as well be living in a system, a matrix, where we are prompted not to question the realities that we live in, nor question those who either claim to be our leaders or who tend to act like it. Or maybe I should say, influencers. That to embrace the truth of questioning our reality, questioning who we listen to and who was telling us what to believe, when, and why, is at best undesirable and at worst actively prevented against from all factions involved. I think the real philosophy and legacy of Cipher from the Matrix is that we, the audience, are not Neo, Trinity, or Morpheus. We are Cipher. We are people who want to live in that ignorance, that we want to be blind to the truth or the nuances of reality, and that it is much easier just to listen to people who already agree with us or surround ourselves with people of like minds rather than deal with those who are not and maybe have similar views but have different opinions of where that goes, or even the possibility, dare I say it, that maybe we might be wrong on some things. But if you happen to agree with that statement or disagree with that, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, this is the Fictional Mindbender, and you guys have a good day.